All right, all right, all right. Answers by guess. Coming down to the two last videos. We are Fantasy Football's Inside Scoop from Outside the Box. What's up, guess?
Tip.
All right. Remember, guys, always like us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Patreon, and now podcasting on Spotify. Always look for those hashtags, Answers by Guess, and ABGFF. We are doing the NFC West Preview. San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, Los Angeles Rams, and the Arizona Cardinals. Go for it, Nick.
Yeah. Two guys in the basement. Answers by guess. Inside scoop from outside the box. We like to talk about the guys that maybe people aren't talking about, or give you a little bit of a contrarian view. It's not by design. It's really not by design. It's just sort of my feelings. We started this 7 years ago. The majority would have thought a certain player would have done better. I said, I think the other player's going to do better, did better. Rob said we should do a show. We did a show. And here we are. And you're with us. And if you haven't caught the first 6 episodes of this show or segment this season, go check them out. We do division by division. Today is the NFC West. These are going to be the last 2. We're this close. Training camps are open. I'm ready to start just talking about all players in all aspects, live show, fielding questions. It took a little while, but I'm feeling it. I'm ready for it. So shortly after these 2 videos drop, watch out because we're coming.
All right. I like it, man. Yeah, it's exciting to see all these training camps, like you said, and everybody going where they're going. New guys, new faces, the way they're working together. Obviously, I'm excited about my Jets. The segment he's talking about 5 guys for your eyes. We've been doing it for every single division. This is where we go over 5 guys and guess ranks them from 5 to 1. And at the end, there's a little bonus. All right. Number 5 on his list, Kyren Williams from the Los Angeles Rams. We saw a little bit of him last year. You were high on him a little last year, too, if I'm not mistaken.
I was, because Cam Akers was struggling. And I know Cam Akers was the hottest running back in the last 4 weeks of the year last year. They drafted the rookie Zach Evans. This is why Kyren Williams winds up on 5 guys for your eyes, because people are forgetting about Kyren Williams. He's the number 2. Maybe Zach Evans jumps ahead of him. Maybe Akers, keeps that role and stays healthy. Rooting for all 3 of these guys. But I'm just telling you right now, while people go after Cam Akers, which they should, but everybody's talking about Cam Akers, so we're not. And while people go after the shiny new toy of Zach Evans, don't forget about Kyren Williams. I mean, this team, they're going to need, some help in some areas. So running the ball could be a good place to start. And to have 3 running backs on the roster, forget about Sony Michel and whoever's below him. If you're below Sony Michel, you're 7 feet deep. So we don't even want to worry about that nonsense. I told you that last year with Sony Michel. People were like, oh, should I pick up Sony? I said, no, you should not pick up Sony. But Cam Akers is good to go. We'll see what Zach Evans brings to the table. I like him, but Kyren Williams is who I would go after. Probably going to go undrafted in most leagues. So just be ready to pluck him, because Cam Akers had that injury history.
I like it, man. Good call. Good call. All right, going on to the next one here. Number 4, the rookie, first-round draft pick, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Dude, he could be special, man.
Yeah, Rob, you and I in a Dynasty League last year traded. You traded me DK. I traded you DeAndre. Kind of feel like DeAndre's at the end of his career. DK was almost at the peak. I don't think he's there yet. But then they go ahead and they draft this guy. And they still got Lockett. And I just kind of feel nothing against DK. I'll draft him anywhere I can, and he falls to me and the situation is correct. But I got a feeling about this guy. Now, for whatever reason, I swear I don't do this on purpose, but a rookie lands in the number 4 spot more often than not. Your eyes. Everybody's talking about this guy. Everybody likes him. So it's nothing really, too outlandish. But I would let DK be taken off a name value rounds ahead and take somebody else a different position maybe and just wait and grab Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I like it, man. I could see Lockett kind of falling down in that pecking order and him becoming the number 2 over there. I like the call. Awesome. All right, number 3 on the list, Jordan Mason. Ooh, even with Elijah Mitchell and McCaffrey in front of him? Why? Tell us why.
Yeah, and we liked TDP last year, but he just couldn't get it going. They got some other guys. I'm sure they drafted a couple people that I've overlooked. They do every year. But Jordan Mason was the guy that Shanahan sort of liked and was playing over TDP. Elijah Mitchell's got that injury history. It seems like every single year you put him in the game. If he's healthy, he always busts one. He has a solid game, but he gets hurt. CMC made it through a year last year. He made it through a year. And while I would probably say he's more durable than not, he did have a couple years in a row where he was getting bitten by that injury bug. One knocked him out for, almost the entirety of the season. They like to use 2. They're not going to overuse CMC. They're going to use him more than most teams use a back. He is top 3, still. But they're going to use another guy. And I kind of feel like Jordan Mason in year 2 is going to show durability, a little bit better awareness, probably got himself hopefully in a little better shape. He was a little thick last year. He's still thick, but let's turn that fat to muscle. I should practice what I preach. But I really like Jordan Mason because of the same exact thing that I sort of talked about with Kyron Williams. People know the name Elijah Mitchell because of that week 1 that we spoke about in the last video a couple years ago when it was supposed to be Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell became the guy. They know CMC. CMC is going to be taken the first 5 picks or so. Definitely first round early.
Oh, yeah.
And Elijah Mitchell is going to be taken because people know the name. I think Jordan Mason's going to be number 2. I think he's going to have a weekly role.
I like it. I heard he was actually practicing a little bit in the passing game as well, but actually being a receiver. So they liked him enough to be able to involve him that way. He could definitely be on the field. All right. Going on to your number 2 here, another rookie wide receiver, Michael Wilson. Ooh, we have a rookie in the 2 spot now.
We got a rookie in the 2 spot. I think we might have had at least 1 or 2 or maybe 3. But this is all about situation. And Michael Wilson is not a name that anybody's talking about. They're talking about Mingo and Jigba and the other big names. Nobody's really talking about Michael Wilson. Yeah, Kyler is Kyler. And then behind him, I don't even know. But
I think it's Colt McCoy still, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. But it's Rondale Moore, who can't stay healthy. Marquise Brown, who can't catch a ball. And Dortch. I mean, those are the 3 guys that are ahead of Michael Wilson. I mean, you don't want to say could carve out like a Larry Fitzgerald type thing because he's not Larry Fitzgerald. But the Cardinals need a guy like Larry Fitzgerald because since he left, we told him to sit down. He did, old man. But they need somebody. Hopkins is gone. They need somebody. So I think Michael Wilson's going to step up. If he stays healthy, he's already got a leg up, I think, on Rondale and Brown because Brown can't catch a ball. You can't trust Marquise Brown. Let the people draft these guys. Hopefully nobody's drafting Dortch, but come on. Michael Wilson's going to pass Dortch. Come on.
All right. Let's go on to number 1 on your list here. Jawan Jennings. That's your boy. You've been talking about Jawan Jennings for a little while.
Yeah, that's my boy. I don't know what year this is for him. 3rd, I'm going to guess. Could be 4th. You might want to look that up.
Yep.
But last year, definitely, I don't think was his 2nd. So it might be his 4th. But either way, Debo more and more is getting hurt. I think Ayuk, your boy, this is 3rd. So
3rd
last year was the 2nd. Okay,
yeah.
so I was wrong. Well, I was kind of right. I think Ayuk, your boy, is going to be the number 1. I think he's going to surpass Debo this year. People are going to draft Debo, obviously, ahead of Ayuk because name value, it's what people do. But I think Ayuk supplants him, surpasses him, whatever superlative you want to use. I don't even know if that's the right verbiage, but I think it might be.
I'm going to go with it.
Sure. But Jawan Jennings is their number 3 no matter what. Yeah, they got Kittle. Yeah, they got CMC. Yeah, we talked about Jordan Mason. We know Elijah Mitchell will do some damage. I think they brought in a rookie tight end who they kind of want to take a little off of Kittle's plate as well, if I'm not mistaken. So they're going to be playing with some pieces. And it looks like it's going to be Mr. Purdy. He says he's got no limitations. Unless they trade Trey Lance for a wide receiver, Juwan Jennings, I think, is going to be the second most productive wide receiver on this team this year. Not because he's better than Debo, but I think he just winds up playing a more meaningful role and has more time on the field. Debo's body, for whatever reason, he had that one huge year. His rookie year, he was even hurt. The second year was huge. Last year struggled to stay on. It feels like one of those situations where it's kind of like, I don't want to touch Debo this year. And if you're looking for somebody late or when the draft is over and you're like, what the heck? I drafted 2 kickers. I must have fallen asleep. Well, you throw him away and you grab Juwan Jennings and you just sit and you wait. And I think out of this list, in the NFC West, he's the number one guy that you should have your eyes on.
He was on the field a lot last year, man. So it's only going to get better from here.
And more as the season went on, too. Once they finally were like, hey, this guy's pretty good. He runs a solid route. He can block.
I think the blocking was huge. He was always around where CMC was cutting through holes. I agree. And that's what they like. That's the Shanahan.
Like a young Lazard.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Nick, you and I usually don't agree on things, or I usually agree with you on a lot of things, but I'm going to go opposite finally, I think, here. And I'm happy that you mentioned it the way you did. My Rob bonus is Dortch. Let me explain why.
Okay.
Targets.
Yes.
Even with DeAndre Hopkins on the field, even with Trey McBride coming up, even with Zach Ertz getting love, Dortch was getting targets. Did he catch every single ball? No. But he was getting targets from a Colt McCoy who can't move in the pocket. He barely can play still, to be honest with you. He's in there because Murray's hurt. If you have a healthy Murray that can move outside of the pocket and Dortch can get behind the secondary with the amount of targets that he's getting, he's going to get love, I think. I think you're 100% correct on Rondale Moore. I think you're right on Hollywood Brown. Those guys can't stay healthy. They can't catch the ball. I don't know what – they really can't go further. Wilson is a great call. I'm not going to say that he's not, but I really think Dortch has a role here because of what he did last year with the less quarterback.
I will agree. And I was hoping that you said who I put Wilson in for. I had an Arizona guy at number 2. Michael Wilson, not enough people know about him. Not enough people are talking about him. He's got great hands, runs great routes. That's why I was using the Larry Fitzgerald type of thing. People will know about him. Not to be confused with the other Michael that was on Arizona years ago, Michael Floyd. This is Michael Wilson. He's a stud, great route runner, great wide receiver. But I put him in and took out a guy you just mentioned, Trey McBride.
Yeah.
I think he could end up being one of the steals for tight ends because how much does Zach Ertz have left? Great career, but
it's the only person that makes me worried is your guy, Lane Swaim, is on Arizona now as well. Exactly. So, all right, that's my Rob bonus, though. I'm glad that we this is one that we're going to have to pay attention to and see where we go.
Yeah, let's have a battle.
I like it. All right, guys. Remember, always like us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Patreon, and Spotify. Look for those hashtags. We'll be back with the final division. Peace.
See you.